Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to Radio Happening Waz. This is your show with your host, Brother Abu Musa. And just before I went off on air, we were talking about the whole matter of the attack in Manchester and the backlash that the Muslim community has got. We were talking about actually the police and the scandal of racism within the police force. So we're going to move on to the next discussion point, which was a discussion in itself, and I kind of wanted to tackle this from a few perspectives, because after some of these whole issues that have been going on, I thought, you know what, society is a very important component of any civilization. When you look at society and you look at the dynamics of society, it's critical to for the growth and protection and the nurturing of that whole civilization, of every aspect of that civilization. And I've kind of broken it down into a few different segments here, and I just want to discuss why society is important. What is society? I mean, if we look at society according to Western kind of philosophers and thinkers and academics, they have said society at its core is a collective of individuals who live together in an organized way, sharing values, norms, institutions, and systems for cooperation. Now, if we look at the alternative, if we look at what some of the classical scholars of Islam, how they viewed society, I'll take an example of Sheikh Al-Farabi, and he talks about the virtuous city, Al-Madinah. And Al-Farabi, he compares society to the human body, and he says each part has a role, but all must cooperate under a just order. So he's used the analogy of a body, human body, and we see how the human body is. If part of the body hurts, if we have pain on our fingers or our feet or our legs, it impacts the rest of our body, and that's the nature of the society. But then if we look at how the West views society, it's a collective of individuals who live together in an organized way, sharing values. So these individuals that live in the society, they don't kind of have a shared impact, because individuals, when they live in a society, there has to be some kind of system of cooperation. There has to be something that ties people together, makes them work together. And I'm going back to the Western perspective. It isn't just a random people, it's structured relationships, family, economy, law, culture, religion, education, and governance. The society provides its members with security, identity, belonging, and the framework for pursuing collective and individual goals, which is quite an interesting summary there of society, because it shows you the importance of a harmonious society. Because from harmonious societies, you develop, healthy offspring, you develop a healthy economy, you develop a healthy community. So you develop a healthy, did I say economy? I think I did say economy, yeah. And of course, from there, it's important that the culture that emanates from that society is also a positive culture. So I'm going to flip back over to the classical Islamic scholars. Here he goes on to say, this is Farabi, he's still saying here, he argues that humans are by nature social beings. They cannot fulfill their needs or achieve happiness alone. So the society is really important. It's a larger family of people that are together, that play a role with each other in many ways. You might have a business agreement with somebody, so you might have business partners. You might have, as an individual, a relationship with the local business because you use that business to get food from there. You might buy your meat from somewhere else. You might, when you have issues with your car, you'll have a mechanic there. So all of these people in that society, they all form very integral relationships. So for civilizations to thrive, society must be guided by a righteous leader who combines wisdom and moral virtue, ensuring justice and cohesion. Now, can you see in this segment over here, for Farabi, he highlights the importance of a just leader, a religious leader. Now, when we look at Islam combines religion and politics together. You have the Prophet ﷺ, he was the religious leader, but he was also the political leader. They weren't devoid of each other. And that's the important point we want to make, that we live in the Western societies where the leader, he may not have a religion, he may not have a moral compass, he may have no religious view whatsoever. So he's expected to rule people in justice. And we can see today, we live in a very unjust society. We see the atrocities going on in the Muslim world. We see how the Western nations turn a blind eye and ignore and often enable the oppressors and support the oppressors, which is a big concern, because what does that do? It creates disharmony in society. We see people protesting, we see people demonstrating for justice. Why? Because the society, that system of governance, is not built on justice. So he goes on to say here, his idea of the virtuous city was one where every member worked towards the common good, grounded in ethics and knowledge. We have here today people on the left, we have people on the right who are trying to create division. Then you have the government. And brothers and sisters, what we need to understand about the government is like your parents. The government is like the parent of the society. It needs to take care of all of its subjects, all of its citizens. They all play a part in creating that extended family and that combined effort. We don't see it here. We don't see it in Western civilizations. We see a lot of disharmony. We see a lot of divide. We see a lot of hatred. We see a lot of disunity. We see racism. You know, all of these corrupt ideas come out in the society that has an unjust system. The governance system is not just. The ruler is not just. Hence, the society, that civilization, has so many issues. It's like trying to grow crops on a land that's not fertile, and you're feeding your crops with pesticides or whatever they be, chemicals or things that are not good and healthy and nutritious for that crop to grow. So what you're getting is a perverted kind of you're getting a plant that's growing that is unhealthy, or it has weeds, it has so many issues, and that's what we're finding in society. That's what we're finding in society is a big problem. I'm going to go back to what is a society according to the West. So here, the article goes further to say that the correct formation of a society is, according to Western philosophy, for a society to function properly and avoid collapse, it needs more and more, and it needs more than just people living side by side. It requires moral and ethical foundations. It requires strong family structures, balanced institutions, social cohesion, which I completely agree. It needs all of the above. But ultimately, how does it establish that? And I'm going to go back to the classical scholars, and I'm going to refer to Imam Ghazali here. And Imam Ghazali, he talks about religion and society. And Al-Ghazali emphasized that society can only flourish when religion and governance work hand in hand. So here we see again, brothers and sisters, the importance of how an ideological state has to have religion and politics as one. So we know as Muslims that Islam came to address our political affairs and our spiritual affairs. It wasn't separated like we have in secular societies. We see how secularism has failed societies because it's not been able to achieve the important role that the governments play. So Imam Ghazali, he also emphasizes here that religion is a foundation and authority is a guardian which has no foundation what has no foundation collapses, and what has no guardian is lost. Let me rephrase that, brothers and sisters. Religion is a foundation and authority is the guardian. What has no foundation collapses, and what has no guardian is lost. He saw family and morality as the micro foundation of society. If families are corrupt, society collapses from within. And brothers and sisters, we all need to look at Western societies. And look, I'm not hating on the Western societies. I am talking from reality. And I'm going to show you some facts